and everything. Let me see if I can get this to stand up right here. Bear with me, man. Shutting off all kinds of screens. All right, hopefully this works.
Yep, it looks
Sorry.
good on my side.
I know I'm trying to get it to just rest. I don't really have a way to. All right, let's try this. Let me sit behind. There we go. I got
Gotcha.
you. Hands free.
Awesome.
How are you?
So I'm doing wonderful. Went on a cruise with some Rattler friends. Then we went to Prescott for the Rattler game, and now we're going to Vegas on Friday for the Vegas game.
Yeah, and he tried to get me to go, and I thought you were inviting me as a fan. I didn't realize you were inviting me to play there.
No, I was inviting you as a fan. Of course, I'm. It's bad that I want you to come back to the Rattlers. I understand that you can't come back, but
Yeah,
I
but you
still
said
want to
it. You
see.
said it. Father time is undefeated, and there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So, do you miss it at all?
Oh, a ton, man. Even just when you send those pictures, yeah, I miss it a ton, especially, and not just
Yeah.
the rat. I mean, the playing career certainly, um, but being away from it now for a few years, any instance of that reminder of that time of life certainly is.
Mhm.
I miss it. Yeah.
So, do the Rattlers still contact you, like, or is it complete darkness? Like, they haven't said anything to you?
No, I don't think I've gotten anything as an alumni or anything. I mean, you also got to think about my time there. Although amazing and
Mm-hmm.
awesome, it was short. It was less than a full season, so I don't stack up when it comes to the royalty of lineage. Had I been there, 3 or 4 years, yeah, certainly I'd imagine. But I think because I joined,
Yeah.
week four, something like that, and then signed with the Bears week 17. So right before the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a short a short time spent, but I loved every minute of it, man. And the organization treated me well, and again, it was the pivotal part of my career, and certainly one of the most enjoyable too. From as far as loving the game and playing the game,
Mm-hmm.
there's fewer memories that were at that level contribution and just fun. Like, obviously it's more fun when you can contribute. It's a lot of fun when you win, but if you have a direct impact on those games, like, you're on top of the world. It feels great. So again, that's why it holds a special place in my heart. We were successful. I had personal success, and again, it was pivotal in my career to
Mm-hmm.
achieve my ultimate dream of signing in
So,
the
what
NFL.
was it like getting the ball off the nets? Was that crazy? Like,
Yeah, it's so I've always been a little bit of maybe you liken it to like a linebacker mentality, but there's something about the love of punt returns in the
hmm
outdoor game and the kick returns in the arena game, where you're kind of crazy because you got people flying down and you don't have eyes on them. So it's a purely reactive part of the game. One of the areas that I excelled in was my reaction and my quickness and my agility. So it just suited my strengths. So that's why I've always kind of had a penchant for punt returns, and why I did so well off the nets was I just was really good at being quick and explosive off the very first step. So it's 1, 2 quick steps, make that first guy miss, and then you're off. But you got to be like super decisive, and you got to react very quickly. But yeah, there's a little bit of that element of crazy of like you could be blindsided, or like there's a lot of potential for collision, certainly
hmm
in that regard. But I loved it, man. It's the best.
what was your your 40 time?
My 40, the
Yeah.
fastest I ever ran, I think, was for Edmonton after my NFL career. I ran a 4.47 or something. It might have been Calgary, actually, not Edmonton. Um, but yeah, my pro day 40 wasn't all that spectacular in the 4.5s. I think that's really what hurt me coming out of college, because I didn't really have height. I was a corner. I was a 4-year starter in college, an All American, but didn't really get a shot at defensive back, so I had to switch to receiver. But yeah, I think my 40 time definitely hurt me. Everything else would have been, in the top 1% from a measurable standpoint, except for my 40 and my height.
And you were, yeah, I was gonna just touch on that. You're 5'7", right?
Yeah, I mean, probably realistically, I was listed at 5'8" or 5'9" in most, what are they called? You know, the, oh my gosh, can't even think, whatever our programs, I was
Mhm.
listed typically at 5'9". Realistically 5'7 3/4", so 5'8" I would round up on a realistic number.
Yeah. So yeah, you definitely would have made the NFL if you were 6 foot, probably.
Yeah, there's
I
certainly some opportunities that would have been afforded me if I had that all the same skill set and was 3 or 4 inches taller. Yeah.
Do you think that's a right, or do you think it should just be if you can
Um,
play?
no, I mean, and here's the very and I hope this is not arrogant or
No, I don't think you're arrogant.
what's the right word, or crazy to think, but I think I had a lot of affirmation. So when I signed with Chicago, and I stepped on that training camp field, there was not a doubt in my mind I could have played corner in the NFL. I just was never going to get the opportunity, and it was because but there's no doubt in my mind I could have excelled, and it just gave
No,
me that proof. So, do I think it's right? No, I don't think it's right. But do I understand how those business decisions are made? Absolutely. You got people that are putting their job on the line from a scouting and evaluation standpoint. And the way that it was phrased to me is, think about it like this: if you miss on a guy that's 6 foot and ran a 4.3, that doesn't look bad. But if you miss on a guy that's 5'8" and ran a 4.5, and you miss on that and you gambled on that, it looks a lot worse from a front office standpoint. So, again, I understand the business side of it. Do I think wish I had the benefit of the doubt of all the other intangibles and every other aspect of the game that I brought with me? Sure, but that wasn't my path and that wasn't my story. And I think that even my route to get there, I think I needed to go through everything I went through in those failures, to sign my first contract. Had I signed coming out of college, what would that have looked like? I don't know. Um, but I'm grateful for the path that I had, certainly.
yeah, definitely. I'm grateful that you signed with the Rattlers and played in the IFL. I mean, not the IFL, the with the Kiss,
Still,
and
yeah, still the AFL at that time. Yeah,
yeah, you played in the AFL, and I got to meet you and stuff, and I loved your game, man.
yeah.
Those
Thank you. Yeah,
kickoff returns and interceptions, you had spark.
yeah. I appreciate it, man. I loved. Like I said, there. I don't think there was more fun than I had with the Rattlers. I think that was the most fun in my playing career. I mean, take college, my professional playing career.
Yeah.
The Rattlers were by far the highlight from a fun, and pure joy of the game standpoint.
And so that was good. You got to talk to Fabrizio today a
Yeah, Fab.
little
Yeah,
bit.
so him and I were roommates. Love him, man. He's
Yeah,
such a
he's
good dude.
awesome.
Miss him a ton. Have not done a great job of staying in touch, but and with most, I think that there's something about that transition away that, we all need a little bit of separation from the game, and I think that there's a mourning that kind of happens in that time.
Hmm.
So it's easy to kind of isolate yourself, because it's a challenge. I will say, like, I think that it doesn't often get talked about, but it's a challenge, when you hang the cleats up, whether it's professional or I know people go through this at the high school level. It's still a challenge, but certainly when it's been such a vast majority of your life, and it's ending, there's huge hurdles that come with the kind of mental landscape, that naturally brings. So, um, again, haven't done a great job of staying in touch with a lot of the guys. There are a handful of guys that, certainly I know. I do know without a doubt I could give Fab a call and we'd catch up and it would be fantastic. Um, so like there are certain guys that you just had great connections with that,
Hmm.
time doesn't, deteriorate the experience or the joy that you shared together for sure.
So who was the more wild one, you or him?
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty straight edge when it comes to wildness. I
Yeah,
mean, I wasn't a drinker, so
you weren't.
I wasn't usually didn't consume any alcohol. Um, so like, I mean, I think that made me pretty tame when it comes to
Yeah.
wildness. But yeah, I mean, uh, there's I don't know who I wouldn't want to throw anybody in the bus to say wild, but there were people that definitely love to have a good time and
That was definitely a groupies, like, girls came up to you guys on the road and right?
not on the road. No, I
Not
wouldn't
on the
say
road?
that. No, I mean maybe not. Yeah, not to that extent. And I think mainly it was just the internal network that you might get connected with. I mean, they always frowned upon the cheerleader interactions, but
Yeah.
that stuff would happen inevitably happen. You know, but
So you have 2 kids now, right?
two kids, yeah, it's
Did you
amazing.
have 2 kids the last time we talked, or
I think we only had the one. I think we only had my daughter the last time I was on. And so I'm hearing and I'm seeing some of these comments. Oh, what is said hi.
I
um,
know. Hi.
hello. No, yeah, so last time I just had my daughter, and this time I have not this time, but we have a son now that has joined our family. Super
Awesome.
excited for
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, super excited for what that means. Just as a parent and as a coach to kind of see what your kids get into and get excited about. It's interesting. I so my daughter is 2.5 and my son's about 8 months, almost 9 months.
Yeah.
Um, and we're
Is he a big
finally.
one?
My son is actually, yeah, significantly bigger than my daughter was like fifth
Oh.
percentile, so very petite. She
Yeah.
was 6 pounds when she was born. My son was 8 pounds 8 ounces, so certainly a lot bigger comparatively. And they've been in the same diaper since he was like 6 months. So yeah, he's a big boy, but I think pretty average when it comes to where he stands on the percentile charts from growth.
Does he
Uh,
have a football already?
yeah, we've given him one that he loves to hold on to. So
Yeah.
that was fun to kind of see him just kind of hold on to that and play. I think I got a good picture. I'll have to find it and send it to you. But yeah, it's exciting. It's
Yeah.
exciting. I think every father wants, or yeah, maybe every athlete probably wants their kid to excel in athletics too.
Mhm.
I'm certainly not going to force football on my son. If he wants to do it, great. I'm totally open to whatever it is that he finds a talent and a passion for. It's one of the tangents I was just about to go on was with my daughter, for example. I've noticed that she doesn't have a super competitive drive when it comes to if her cousins are playing certain games. She's perfectly fine sitting on the side. But I have noticed that she loves to sing. So I'm really curious what that, artistic, what that singer path might be for her because I mean, she was humming basically before she could talk. And now like that's one of her favorite things to do is just sing randomly throughout the day and about
Definitely
her
get her into, like, singing or drama
life
or
or
something.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see what if that really is a passion that she has, but it certainly seems to be a gift that we love. It's a gift for us, and we love hearing her just kind of sing. And it's
And what are their names?
so we have Isla, who's my daughter, and Isaiah, who's my
Isla.
son. Yeah,
Isaiah.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
So, you definitely miss football. You haven't been talking to any of the guys
I mean, occasionally, Nick,
occasionally.
awesome.
Yeah, Nick Devila.
Nick and Fabrizio, the Deadders, occasionally just through social media.
Yeah,
Usually it's more so
Dukes.
just following them on social. Oh yeah, Cliff, Sherman, the Hawthorns. I mean,
That
Antosh and his
team was
wife have been.
loaded.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And so yeah, I love to follow. I mean, Antosh and his wife have been doing awesome things and
Yeah.
love to see their success as they, in their corresponding chapters. So yeah, It's fun to
I got my
again. It's
Rattlers
me.
jersey on right
But
now.
yeah, and I not on ours, but where was the background on one of your other recent streams? You had all the footballs. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I got the San Diego, I mean, Naz camouflage ball. And then I got some other balls that I got to hang.
I thought I had my AFL ball in here, but I do not.
Do you have a Cruise jersey from your
I have
Rattlers?
my I don't have a Cruise Rattlers jersey. I don't have a Cruise my Chicago
Kiss?
jersey. I had my Miami jersey, and this is my buddy Gavin.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't have a Rattlers jersey. I would have loved to have kept one from that era.
Yeah.
I think at that time too, again, like this is the behind the scenes. Like players have to pay for the jerseys, just kind of keep those, and they're kind of expensive. And in the arena days,
Hmm.
I didn't want to pay whatever $400 for to keep a jersey. I think money was a little bit tighter back then, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to pay for that.
Yeah.
But I wish I did.
I don't blame you. But do you think you can like make it to a game in the near future?
We talked about this last time. I was hoping to. I was actually out in Scottsdale last month,
I know, I saw that.
and I don't think there was. I was there on Friday the 24th, April 24th. So I don't think there was a game locally, but had
Mm.
already had plans. I was visiting clients, and then a buddy of mine was actually having a golf birthday trip, so I caught around with him out there. So
So have
yeah,
you ever gotten a hole in one?
I've never gotten a hole in one in golf. No, unfortunately.
AJ.
Have you gotten one?
No.
Okay.
I got 3 in a row on mini golf.
Yeah. I've gotten a hole in one at the putt putt, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
never a real golf course hole in one. I'm not that great. I actually used to be a lot better before I started learning how to swing a club. I think my athleticism kind of took over then, and then you start getting too technical, and then I lost my strength was literally my strength and my drive. So before I learned how to play, I could just drive the ball way far and take a bunch of strokes to get it in afterwards. But when my drive kind of went away as I started working on my irons and getting kind of a more complete approach game, my driver went away. So it's just kind of hurt my score significantly. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't get out enough to really improve. I've got a best friend that is so dialed in, uh, and just I just don't have the time or capacity to practice like it takes.
Uh,
It is such a the margin for error is so small in golf. I think it's such a unique sport in that like the consistency is extremely difficult to replicate over and over. And like I said, the margin for error is so much smaller than anything else. So if you're just like, a millimeter or two off, like it completely changes how that ball comes
yeah.
off the club. So yeah,
If you
elite.
weren't going to play football, what sport would you have been?
Basketball, actually. So in if you were to ask me my freshman year of high school if I was going to play college sports, I would have said basketball.
Mm.
Football kind of took off. I mean, it was always a sport that I loved. I just think I excelled at basketball at those early stages. Um, and so my freshman year, I would have thought maybe I would have played basketball in college. But I think I also knew that, my height, that was going to be the biggest issue for that too. So realistically, if I went back, maybe I would have kept baseball through high school. That's when I kind of stopped playing baseball. Um,
What
that would
position?
have been fun to continue and might have had a greater chance at success based on some of those physical metrics.
Were
But
you in the outfield?
I was a second baseman in center field. Yeah,
Second baseman, center field.
yeah, and then I used to be a leadoff hitter, and then towards the end, right before high school, I kind of my bat wasn't as strong, but I was a good base runner, so I'd always be kind of a pinch runner, and steal a lot of bases. So that's where I found a lot of success in baseball.
Did you do you think you went through your career relatively injury free, or did you have any bad injuries?
Um, Relatively injury free. But the bad injuries, like, post career, I've done a lot of like MRIs and different things. The
Mm,
head trauma is one that I didn't think I took a lot of, but after doing some uh, scans and everything, it turns out I have some pretty serious traumatic brain injuries and different things that are not
like
ideal.
concussions?
Certainly. Yeah, from concussions. I've only had one diagnosed, right, concussion, but in reality,
Mhm.
as these studies are expanding, probably had a lot more than was diagnosed, but just we didn't have the way to kind of measure those smaller ones. But yeah, so afterwards we can do a lot of different scans that see kind of what part of your brain is triggering, what's normal, what's not. What happens is your brain starts kind of overcompensating. So let's just say I've got some traumatic brain injuries in certain parts of my brain. So the way they identify new neural paths is they say,
Mhm.
hey, this part of the brain's lighting up when typically it should be, this other part. So what's happened is my brain has redirected the path for that activity, and some other areas, kicking in when it shouldn't be. So some of that stuff helps you identify where there are potential issues, but at the end of the day, it's something that's constantly developing and studying. It's a really sensitive matter too. So
Do you have a
I mean,
lot of headaches and stuff, or are
no,
you're
the
fine,
symptoms for
right?
me, yeah, the symptoms for me are not too bad. The only thing is over my time, I think my memory is not as good as I would like it to be. Um,
Yeah.
and so there are things where I genuinely do not remember in great detail, like I wish I did. And then I did have a little bit of an issue, and this was I think at the similar time that I was having some other mental health challenges, but it was like I was stuttering. That seemed to have gone away a little bit, so that makes me think it was more of something else kind of coming into play there, but that doesn't seem to be as much of a problem as it was. But you know, that's a I knew some of the risk. I didn't know the full scope of it, but I knew it was
Mhm.
something that I was aware of, and it wasn't like I was, you know.
Looking back, you would do it all over again, right?
Yeah, I think I would. I loved the experience that I had. I think I would. Moving forward, though, am I gonna be? I'm not gonna be someone that forces my kid, like my sons, to play football. If they don't want to play,
Mhm.
great. I'm not like, good for you. I'd rather you find something that you have just as much passion for, that doesn't have as much of the health risk. You know, but if they want to play, I want to make them aware of the risks, and try and protect
Mhm.
them as much as they can, and support them. So if that's something they want to do, and I've got the opportunity to protect them, and then give them some informed education on potential repercussions and the risks involved later in life, I want to give them as much opportunity to pursue their passions, but also make wise decisions for their life. I mean, it's also too early to tell. Like, we could sit down in 20 years, and I could be looking a lot different, and it could be caused from head trauma. And maybe at that time, it would be a greater lesson for them to say, hey, I'm now 20, and do I want to keep playing in college? Look at my dad. Who knows? I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, and I hope that doesn't happen. Knock on
Yeah,
wood.
I hope that doesn't
Um,
happen either, man. How
but
old are
yeah,
you now?
say that. Say that
How
again.
old are you?
34.
34.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. And your
Yeah,
wife
but
is doing good. Are you guys gonna have more kids?
yeah, we want to have a big family. So we'd love to have, a couple more. If that's in God's plan, we are eager to play our
Awesome.
part. Yeah, for sure. So we
So
love.
do your kids get along?
Yeah, right now, our daughter was really, really good with our son. So our
Mhm.
daughter was my parents' 12th grandchild. And our
Jeez.
son was their 14th, and so they're around a lot of other older cousins, and I've been around most of my nieces and nephews' life. I mean, the fortunate part about my football career too is when I was home training, off seasons, whatever, in between being cut from teams, um, I was often with my nieces and nephews throughout a major part of their early years. So um, I got to see a lot of their development as babies, 1, 2, 3 years old, for a good portion, almost all except one of my nieces and nephews that are closest to my children. But there's about 10 of them that I pretty much got a lot of time while I was home in off seasons, like I said, whatever it was, or 2, 3 hours throughout the morning that I got to be with them. So yeah, when I
Awesome.
look at that experience that they have had with siblings, I think my daughter is really nurturing. So she's been really good with our son. Again, 2.5, 8 months, 9 months. We'll see what that looks like in a few years. I'm sure it'll change in good and bad ways over the course of their life.
So did you have a lot of people from your family at the games and stuff?
Yeah, all so my parents are like the ultimate supporters. They came to every single game. College, they came to every single college game. And they made it to pretty much all of my professional games. So with the exception of some of those road games, I don't think they were in New Orleans when we played the Voodoo. I don't think they came up to Portland for the Storm or the Shock, the Spokane. But all the Arizona games, they were out. We had family out in Arizona, so my parents would drive. It was a 5-hour drive from Orange County, where I grew up. Um, so they were at all the home games,
Awesome.
and as many of the road games as they could make. Yeah, I had incredible support from my family, and then aunts and uncles that would come to an occasional game here and there. I think there was a time when I was playing for the Kiss, and then when I came back when we were with the Rattlers, and I think we trounced them like 72-18 or something.
Yeah.
So I had a ton of family at that game. Um, and that was fun too because that game I played Jack linebacker the entire game, and that was one of the comments I think that one of the coaches made was for the Kiss. I had my early return success, and they cut me because they're like, I don't know if we can get you on the field, and so outside of returns, and so we don't want to hold a roster spot just for a returner. I was like, I could play anything, put me on the field. And so, sure enough, when we came back and played them, I played Jack linebacker and had a pretty good game, and it was
Yeah, that
fun.
was the game that we took a bus. Like there
Yeah,
was at least 100 people that got on a bus and went up to LA to see the game.
that is so
That's
cool.
devotion, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's such a cool. This is another thing. Like, talk to me about that fan experience. I think, what do you think makes it unique about the Rattlers that they had such a strong fan base?
Well, they've won a lot of championships, so you're gonna
Helps.
get a lot of fans there, but they really they're just so much fun to go to the games and watch them play, and winning helps, but it's just I don't know, I really don't have a good answer for it, it's just I love it.
Yeah.
I can't I don't know why, but I can't come up with something.
No, I mean, I'd say it's somewhat unique. I mean, I think each market that had a good, like the ones that were successful, right? Your San Jose's, your Arizona. I think even Spokane probably had a pretty long tenured
Okay,
AFL.
yeah.
You just had unique markets that had great support. And so, like,
Mhm.
maybe it wasn't as unique as I felt it was, but
No,
I,
I
I
think it was
thought,
definitely unique.
yeah. I mean, New Orleans had, a good one too. I mean, yeah, it's a unique. Yeah, I thought it was great. I loved the support that we got. I loved the opportunities, and maybe something about that too, Dustin. You talked about it the last time we were on a call. Maybe something about it is the accessibility. Is just that, hey, it's like you get to know some of these players. You experience a little bit more life with them than you
Mhm.
do. maybe some of these other professional leagues and sports. So, um,
Well, I definitely think there's no professional league like the IFL
yeah,
or the AFL in your case,
yeah,
because we wouldn't be doing this today,
yeah.
And I don't want to bother you, so I don't hit you up all the time, but I just hit you up and I'm like, "Hey, you want to do a podcast?" And you're like, "Hell yeah, let's go."
Yeah, let's do it,
So
man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's always fun to
You know.
reminisce. And like I said, I've got such I've said it 3 or 4 times now already on our time here, but I do have such fond memories of my time with the Rattlers. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to relive some of those days and just playing a game, or just have the ability to like put a lens on and like relive that experience.
hmm
Certainly.
Do you ever watch any of the games? Like,
No, it's hard for me to catch anything. It's mainly if it's convenient and flexible. I mean, as it is with
mm,
I'm working my schedule around watching any particular team.
mm,
So it just becomes difficult to, you know, to do that. And I think with the IFL, I know some of that stuff is streamed online. Maybe we could with our TV nowadays. They all have the ability to access the internet, but
yeah.
my computer's in a completely different section of the house, separate from the TV. So it's just not quite an intent. And plus, again, with the kids, they're the priority. So I can't really
No, I totally get
dial
that.
into a game at this point, or it's got to be like scheduled. Like, hey, my wife's name is Danielle. Hey, Danielle. I don't call her that. Hey, my love. Can I watch the game this weekend? I really want to watch this. Then we can kind of coordinate a way that but that's it's usually just like the Super Bowl and maybe college football playoffs that I'll be able to kind of get away like that and dedicate time. Which I mean, I don't mind. Again, like part of that was therapeutic for me. I had to get away from the game for a little bit, and then part of that is just the priorities of I'd rather be spending time with my kids than 2 hours, 3 hours glued to the TV. And it looks like you froze, and I don't know if that's me or you. Okay, maybe it's just my connection. That is my nickname. But yeah, I've gone by AJ my whole life, so that's my name. Yeah, I don't want to share. English Cruise is good. Yeah,
Luck with your kids and your wife, and we will definitely talk again.
awesome. Any other questions, man? While you got me, maybe it'll be another year and a half or two. I feel like since we last spoke, but
Nah, I can't think of any questions. Do you have any for me?
yeah, where's the next vacation? I know you have some good. Where was that cruise that you went on?
That cruise was in Alaska,
Oh, nice.
and this weekend we're going to Vegas for the Rattlers game. And then the following weekend, I'll be back up in Prescott as the Wranglers take on Vegas
Oh, nice.
because I can't make it to Jacksonville. That's a
Yeah,
little too
that's the
far.
trick. Yeah, yeah. What was the other guy from the Jacksonville fan club still here too? Still kind of supporting with the podcast or no?
Oh no, we kind of went our separate ways.
Sure. Yeah.
For whatever reason, he just stopped doing it.
Okay. Yeah. But no other
Yeah,
vacations apart from seeing some games. You're not traveling anywhere.
nah,
No.
not really.
Well, good. Well, I'm
Well,
glad to get to see
no,
it.
actually, July 4th, I'm going to Montana and Idaho,
Oh,
and I'm
nice.
gonna go see Yellowstone.
Heck yeah, that'll be beautiful
And
that time of year.
then in July, we're going to San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Idaho, Montana
I've
trip for
never
the
been
summer.
there.
It's going to be beautiful. I've only seen pictures, and it looks like the bluest skies you could ever see. So enjoy that trip for sure.
Definitely. You'll see videos.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be doing
Awesome.
videos. All
Awesome.
right,
All righty,
man.
man. Well, thanks for having me on
Thank
again.
you, bro.
Appreciate it.
Mhm. No
Yeah,
problem.
take care.
Bye.